Listen to me. Success doesn't show up on your doorstep like a delivery. You have to chase it down. You have to wake up every day and tell yourself, I'm not stopping until I get what I came for. That's what keep grinding means. When the world sleeps, the grinder moves. When others say it's too much, the grinder whispers are just one more step. See, grinding isn't about talent. It's about staying in the fight when others walk away. It's about that inner voice that says, I can, I will, that says, I can, I will, I must. You can't fake the grind. It exposes who's real and who's just talking. When the lights are off, when nobody's cheering, when your progress feels invisible, that's when true greatness is born. You don't grind because it's easy. You grind because your dream deserves it. And hear me clearly, the grind is not punishment. It's the process that refines you, strengthens you, and prepares you for what you asked for. You said you wanted the dream. Now prove you're worthy of it. So don't stop. Don't quit. Don't let the small defeats make you forget how far you come. You're not doing all this work to stay the same. You're doing it to transform. Keep showing up. Keep believing. Keep grinding. Because one day, the world will call you a lucky, and you'll smile knowing it was never luck. It was your grind. Consistency over hype. That's the real secret most people don't want to hear, because it sounds boring. It doesn't sparkle like overnight success or go viral like motivational clips on social media. But it's the foundation of every great achievement you can name. Consistency is what separates those who almost made it from those who actually do, or those who actually do. When the hype fades, when the applause stops, when nobody's watching, the ones who keep showing up are the ones who win. It's not about the big, loud moments that everyone sees. It's about the quiet, steady commitment behind the scenes. The truth is, hype gives you a moment, but consistency gives you a movement. Most people start with energy. They start with excitement. With that spark of inspiration that makes everything feel possible, they wake up one morning saying, oh, this is my time. I'm going all in. But a few days, weeks, or months later, that fire cools down. The grind becomes routine. The results slow down. And suddenly it doesn't feel as exciting anymore. That's when most people stop. Say, maybe it's not meant for me. But that's the test right there. That's where the separation happens. The grinders, the dreamers, the doers, they understand that consistency doesn't care about feelings. You don't stop because it's not fun anymore. You keep going because you made a promise to yourself and you refuse to break it. Think about a farmer planting seed. He doesn't plant them one day and wake up the next expecting a full field of crops. He waters them, nurtures them, protects them, and waits. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and still nothing visible. But he doesn't quit because he knows something is happening beneath the surface. Growth takes time, and consistency is the water that keeps that process alive. The same applies to your dreams. You might not see the results right now, but that doesn't mean nothing's working. Every small action, every single day keeps watering your potential. The problem with hype is that it tricks you into thinking that energy equals progress. But it doesn't. Energy can get you started, but consistency is what keeps you in the race. Anyone can be excited for a week. Anyone can post about the grinding for a few days. But how many people still showing up when the excitement wears off? That's the difference. The people who stay consistent are the ones who understand that excellence isn't built overnight. It's built through repetition, through routine, through the daily decision to keep going even when you don't feel like it. When you look at the greats, athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, leaders, what you'll notice isn't hype, it's habits. Kobe Bryant didn't just play basketball when he felt motivated. He trained every single day, hours before anyone else showed up. That's consistency. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, but it's powerful. The world celebrates the championship, but they don't see the early mornings, the missed parties, the nights of quiet dedication. That's where greatness grows. In the spaces where no one is watching. Consistency also builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. Every time you follow through on what you said you would do, you strengthen your self-belief. You're teaching yourself, I can rely on me. That's the kind of confidence hype can never give you. When you're consistent, you stop needing external validation because your progress becomes your proof. You don't need to tell people you're working. Your results will eventually speak for you. And here's something most people overlook. Consistency compounds. It multiplies your effort over time. One workout won't change your body. One day of focus won't transform your life. But when you do it every day, even just a little, those small actions add up. Think of it like drops of water carving through stone. Each drop alone seems insignificant, but over time, it shapes the entire surface. That's what your consistent effort does to your goals. It shapes them. It shapes you. There will be days when it feels like you're doing everything right and getting nothing back. That's when you have to remember that consistency is about faith, not feedback. You can't measure your progress only by what you can see. Sometimes the universe is testing your patience. Sometimes it's building your character before it delivers your success. If you quit too soon, you'll never see what your persistence could have produced. You have to stop living for the rush of hype. Hype makes you dependent on other people's reactions. It makes you crave attention, likes, and validation. But when you're consistent, your satisfaction comes from your own effort. You don't need noise. You need progress. You learn to fall in love with the process instead of the praise. That's maturity. That's growth. That's what separates the ones who last from the ones who fade out. Imagine you're building a house. Each day you lay one brick. Just one. Some days the weather's perfect. Other days it's tough. But you still lay your brick. After a year, you look back, and there it is. A solid wall, strong and steady. That's what consistency builds. A foundation that no hype can match. People who live for hype build on sand. It looks good for a moment, but when the storm hits, it falls apart. But consistency builds on rock. When life gets tough, your structure stands firm because it was built brick by brick. Consistency also creates clarity. When you do something regularly, you start to understand it deeply. You get better at it, more efficient, more creative. You start to see what works and what doesn't. Hype gives you temporary excitement, but consistency gives you long-term wisdom. Every repetition teaches you something. Every day of showing up sharpens your skills. You might not always feel inspired, but you can always be consistent. Inspiration is temporary. Consistency is a choice. You don't wait to feel ready. You move, you act, you commit. That's how you build momentum. And momentum is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Once you start moving, and keep moving, the universe aligns opportunities in your path. Doors open because you've proven that you're serious. It's also important to understand that consistency doesn't mean perfection. You're going to have off days. You're going to stumble. You're going to miss a few steps along the way. But what matters is that you come back. You don't stay down. You don't stay down. Consistency is not about never falling. It's about always rising. It's about showing up again and again, even when yesterday didn't go your way. You can't depend on hype because hype burns out. It's temporary fuel. It gives you a spark, but consistency builds a fire that never goes out. You become unstoppable, not because you never get tired, but because you refuse to stop showing up. That's how you build resilience, strength, and credibility. Look around. There are countless talented people who never reached their potential because they relied on hype. They waited for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect crowd. But perfection never comes. The ones who make it are the ones who do it anyway. Tired, busy, uninspired, unsure, but still doing it. That's consistency. There's a story about the tortoise and the hare. The hare had speed, confidence, and hype. The tortoise had patience and consistency. The hare laughed at the tortoise's slow pace. But guess who crossed the finish line first? The one who never stopped moving. The same principle applies to life. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the flashiest. You just have to keep going. Every step forward counts. When you commit to being consistent, you begin to realize that real success is built, not bought. It's earned through sweat, time, and patience. You can't microwave greatness. You have to cook it slow. You have to let it develop, mature, and grow. That's why consistency is sacred. Because it honors the process. Says, I'm willing to invest in my future, even if I can't see the full picture yet. Eventually, people will notice. They'll see your growth, your improvement, your results. But by then, you won't even be grinding for their attention. You'll be doing it because it's who you are. You'll have transformed the act of grinding into a lifestyle. Consistency becomes your identity. And here's the best part. Once you master consistency, you become unstoppable in every area of life. Whether it's fitness, business, relationships, or personal growth, that same mindset applies. If you can stay consistent in one thing, you can apply that power everywhere. Because consistency teaches you commitment, patience, and perseverance. So stop waiting for hype. Stop waiting for someone to motivate you. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Start now and don't stop. Do it today, do it tomorrow, do it the day after that. Because one day you'll look back and all those small, consistent steps will have turned into something massive, something undeniable. Remember this, hype fades, but consistency compounds. It doesn't shout, it builds, it doesn't impress. Impacts. When the world forgets your name, your work will still speak. So keep showing up, keep building, keep grinding. Because while others chase moments, you're creating a legacy. And legacy, that's something no hype can ever replace. Focus creates freedom. It sounds simple, but it's one of the most powerful truths you'll ever understand. In a world where everyone is busy chasing everything, true power belongs to the person who knows how to focus on one thing. Focus isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. When you focus, you give yourself permission to stop scattering your energy and start channeling. That's where freedom begins. The freedom to move with clarity, to act with purpose, and to live with intention. Most people confuse freedom with having endless options. They think freedom means being able to do anything, go anywhere, or start everything at once. But the truth is, too many options create confusion. When your attention is divided, your energy gets diluted. You end up halfway everywhere, fully nowhere. Focus doesn't trap you, it liberates you. It frees your mind from chaos, your schedule from clutter, and your soul from noise. When you focus, you take control of your time, your effort, and your destiny. Think about sunlight. When it's spread across a wide space, it warms. But when that same light is concentrated through a lens, it burns. That's the difference between living distracted and living focused. The same energy that barely makes progress when scattered can create massive results when directed with precision. Focus multiplies your strength. It gives ordinary people extraordinary power. In this age of constant distraction, focus is a superpower. Your phone is buzzing, your notifications are endless, and everyone's trying to pull your attention somewhere else. If you're not careful, you can spend your whole day reacting instead of creating. That's why focus is freedom. Because when you decide where your attention goes, you reclaim control over your life. You stop being a passenger and become the driver again. Focus starts with clarity. You have to know what you truly want. If you don't know your target, you'll waste energy shooting in every direction. Take a moment to define your vision. What's the goal that sets your soul on fire? What's the drink that won't let you sleep? Once you know that, your focus becomes your filter. Every choice you make either brings you closer or pushes you further away. When you focus, you learn to say no. Not because you're rude, but because you're responsible. You understand that saying yes to everything means saying no to excellence. Freedom comes from the ability to direct your energy towards something meaningful. When you're focused, your actions align with your purpose. You stop living by accident, start living by design. Every day becomes intentional. Every step has direction. That's real freedom, not the freedom to do everything, but the freedom to do the right thing. Look at anyone who's achieved greatness, whether it's a business leader, an athlete, or an artist, and you'll see the same pattern, obsessive focus. They didn't just dabble in their dreams, they devoted themselves to them. Steve Jobs once said, "A focus and simplicity." That's been one of my mantras. He wasn't chasing every idea. He was refining one vision to make technology simple, elegant, and powerful. Because focus isn't just about doing. It's about refining, shaping, improving until excellence becomes your standard. When you lack focus, you live in reaction mode. You're always busy but never productive. You start one project, leave it halfway, and chase another shiny thing. Days turn into months, and you realize you've been running in circles. But when you focus, your effort compounds. You make steady progress, and progress builds confidence. Confidence builds momentum, and momentum creates results. The reason focus feels hard is that it requires discipline of thought. Your mind loves stimulation. It loves jumping from one thing to another because that gives it a quick hit of excitement. But focus asks you to slow down, to go deep instead of wide. It asks you to trade short-term pleasure for long-term purpose. And that's why it's rare. Not because people can't focus, but because most people don't want to give up distractions long enough to master it. The truth is, distraction is the enemy of destiny. You can't chase everything and expect to catch something meaningful. You can't build a masterpiece if you keep changing canvases. You have to pick one, commit to it, and pour yourself into it. That's how great things are built, through unwavering concentration. Focus also brings peace. When your mind isn't scattered, your spirit feels lighter. You stop comparing yourself to everyone else because you're too busy improving yourself. You stop worrying about other people's opinion because your eyes are fixed on your goal. Focus removes the clutter that clouds your confidence. It gives you the inner calm that comes from knowing exactly where you're going. There's another kind of freedom that comes with focus. Time freedom. When you focus on the right things, you waste less time on the wrong ones. You stop chasing unimportant goals, meaningless conversations, and unnecessary commitments. You become efficient, productive, and powerful. You start to do in hours what used to take you days. That's how people who focus seem to have more time than others. It's not that they have more hours, it's that they waste fewer of them. Every distraction comes with a price. Every time you lose focus, you lose momentum. And momentum is what drives success. That's why you have to guard your focus like treasure. Protect it from negativity, from overthinking, from people who drain your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your attention. Not every opportunity is worth your effort. You have to decide what truly matters and then build your days around it. Focus creates freedom because it gives you mastery. When you give yourself fully to something, you begin to understand it deeply. You see patterns others miss. You develop intuition and skill. You become not just good, but great. And greatness gives you choices, the freedom to decide where you go next. The more mastery you have, the more freedom you gain. When you live focused, life gets simpler, not easier, but clearer. You know your priorities. You stop chasing what doesn't matter. You stop trying to impress people who don't care. You stop measuring your worth by likes, views, or applause. Instead, you measure it by progress, impact, and fulfillment. Focus replaces chaos with clarity, confusion with confidence. But remember this, focus isn't just about work. It's about alignment. You can't focus on your goals if your mind is filled with clutter, fear, or doubt. You have to focus your thoughts, your emotions, and your energy. You have to make your inner world as clear as your outer goals. Because true focus starts within. When your heart and mind are aligned, your actions naturally follow. Many people live in a constant state of distraction because it's comfortable. It's easy to scroll, easy to multitask, easy to stay busy but avoid death. But comfort is the enemy of focus. To focus means to say no more noise. It means turning down the volume of the world so you can hear your own vision. It means being okay with silence, solitude, and stillness, because that's where ideas grow. If you ever feel lost, overwhelmed, or stuck, check your focus. You might not need to do more. You might just need to focus more. Life doesn't get better when you add more. It gets better when you remove distractions and direct your attention to what truly matters. The quality of your focus determines the quality of your life. Freedom doesn't come from chasing everything. It comes from mastering something. When you focus, you create results that give you leverage. You build a reputation that opens doors. You gain confidence that empowers you to say no to the things that don't align. That's real freedom, not the absence of limits, but the ability to choose the right ones. Focus is like a magnifying glass. When you aim it at your goals long enough, even small sparks can ignite massive change. Every bit of energy you put into your focus adds up. The key is to stay locked in. Don't keep restarting. Don't keep looking sideways. Keep your eyes on your target and move forward with conviction. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do one thing with excellence. The world rewards mastery, not mediocrity. You don't get remembered for dabbling. You get remembered for dedicating. Focus makes your work timeless. It turns ordinary effort into extraordinary impact. So if you truly want freedom, financial, emotional, spiritual, it starts with focus. The freedom to live your dream doesn't come from luck. It comes from locking in on your purpose, cutting out the noise, and doing the work that matters most. The moment you stop trying to do everything, you start becoming unstoppable at the one thing that matters most. Every morning when you wake up, Ask yourself, what deserves my focus today? Then give it everything. Block out the distractions. Don't chase 10 different paths. Choose one and walk it with commitment. Because the truth is, freedom is not found in having more. It's found in needing less. When your heart, mind, and energy are focused on one clear vision, you are the freest person in the world. Focus creates freedom. Not the freedom to do anything, but the freedom to become everything you were meant to be. Faith fuels the grind. It's the unseen power that keeps you moving when logic says stop, when the road ahead looks uncertain, and when results haven't yet appeared. Faith is the invisible energy behind every great success story, the quiet conviction that whispers to keep going when nothing else makes sense. It's not something you can touch, measure, or see, but it's stronger than any force around you. Faith is what keeps your heart steady when the world shakes, what keeps your vision alive when others can't see it, and what gives you courage to continue when your circumstances tell you to quit. Every great journey begins with faith. Not because the path is clear, but because the purpose is strong. You don't start something meaningful because you have all the answers. You start because you believe something greater is possible. Faith isn't the absence of fear. It's the ability to move forward despite it. It's trusting the process, trusting your effort, and trusting that the seeds you plant today will one day bloom, even if you can't see the growth yet. The truth is, everyone believes in something. The question is, what you believe in? Do you believe in your excuses? Or do you believe in your potential? Do you believe in the limitations others put on you? Or do you believe in the power within you? Faith is a choice. Every morning you wake up, you have to decide which voice you'll listen to. The one that says you can't, or the one that says you can. The direction of your life follows the strength of your belief. When you're grinding toward a dream, there will be times when results seem invisible. You'll work day after day and nothing will appear to change. Those are the moments where faith becomes your fuel. It's this inner voice that said, I'm not there yet, but I'm closer than I was yesterday. It's the steady heartbeat of persistence that keeps you moving when motivation fades. Because faith is not emotional, it's foundational. Feelings fluctuate, but faith stays firm. It doesn't need evidence. It is the evidence. Think about a seed again. When it's planted, it disappears into the soil. For a long time, it looks like nothing's happening. The world sees emptiness, but beneath the surface, transformation is happening. That's what faith does. It allows you to work underground, to keep watering and believing, even when the surface looks barren. The people without faith dig up their seeds when they don't see quick growth. The people with faith, they keep watering. And one day the sprout breaks through. Faith gives you the ability to see beyond what's visible. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about believing in possibility. When others say it's impossible, faith says, watch. It's the spark that keeps you creative, the anchor that keeps you grounded, and the engine that keeps you driving forward. You can't grind consistently without faith, because faith gives meaning to the struggle. It turns setbacks into stepping stones and obstacles into opportunities. There will be moments when you'll doubt yourself, when the noise around you becomes louder than the voice inside. People will question your choices, criticize your path, and remind you of your past. But faith reminds you that your journey is yours. You're not defined by who you were or what you've gone through. You're defined by who you're becoming. Faith tells you that what's ahead of you is greater than what's behind you. Faith isn't passive. It's not just sitting and waiting for something magical to happen. It's active trust. It's movement. It's doing your part and believing that the universe, God, or destiny will meet you halfway. Faith doesn't replace hard work. It empowers it. It gives your grind direction, your purpose energy, and your effort resilience. When your body gets tired, faith reminds you why you started. When your plans fall apart, faith gives you the courage to rebuild. The reason faith is so powerful is that it teaches patience. You can't rush what's meant for you, but you can prepare for it. Faith keeps you calm in the waiting, keeps you strong when life slows down. Some people quit because they mistake silence for absence. They think if they don't see results, nothing's happening. But faith knows that delay is not denied. Sometimes the universe is aligning things behind the scenes. Sometimes the wait is building your character for what's coming. Faith also changes how you handle failure. Without faith, failure feels final. But with faith, failure becomes feedback. You see it not as the end, but as instruction, a lesson wrapped in experience. Every time something doesn't go your way, faith helps you extract wisdom from it. You learn, you adjust, you grow. Faith reminds you that the grind isn't wasted. Even the hard days count. When you have faith, you stop chasing validation. You stop needing others to believe in you because your belief is enough. You become your own source of strength. Faith gives you independence from doubt. It silences the need for approval because you know your purpose isn't up for debate. People may not see what you see, but that's okay. It's not their vision to carry. Faith and fear can't coexist. They both ask you to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. One in the negative, the other in the positive. Fear says, what if it doesn't work? Oh, faith says, well, what if it does? And whichever one you feed grows stronger. You can't stop fear from showing up, but you can decide not to give it power. Feed your faith with action, with gratitude, with persistence. The more you act in faith, the smaller your fear becomes. Faith makes the impossible achievable because it refuses to accept limits. Look at every major breakthrough in history. It started with someone who believed in something no one else could see. Faith gives birth to innovation, courage, and resilience. It's what pushes people to keep experimenting, keep creating, keep pushing boundaries. You can't grind toward greatness without believing it's possible. But faith also humbles you. It reminds you that you don't control everything. And that's okay. You're not supposed to. You do your part, and you trust the rest will fall into place. That's where peace comes from. Not from knowing the outcome, but from trusting the process. Faith lets you rest even in uncertainty because you know something good is being built through your effort. Sometimes faith feels lonely. You might look around and see no one walking with you. That's when you realize faith doesn't need a crowd. It just needs conviction. The crowd celebrates results, but faith celebrates the journey. It celebrates showing up when no one's cheering, believing when no one's agreeing, and giving when no one's recognizing. Faith is personal. It's between you and your purpose. You can't grind effectively without belief because the grind will test you, will challenge your patience, your confidence, and your endurance. There will be moments when you question everything. In those moments, faith becomes your reminder that you are still in the story, that the ending hasn't been written yet. You might not be where you want to be, but you're also not where you used to be. That progress, even if small, is proof that faith is working. Faith doesn't eliminate doubt, but it keeps it from controlling you. It reminds you that you're bigger than your fears, that you're capable of more than you think, and that the dream you carry was given to you for a reason. You're not grinding for nothing, you're grinding because something inside you refuses to settle. That something, that inner knowing, is faith. When you have faith, you begin to speak differently. You stop saying if it happens. Start saying it when it happens. You stop seeing obstacles as dead ends and start seeing them as detours. Your words carry power because your belief backs them up. Faith makes your language stronger, your attitude brighter, and your energy contagious. People feel it when you walk in faith. It's magnetic. Faith is also contagious. When you walk with conviction, others start to believe too. Your confidence becomes their hope. Your perseverance becomes their inspiration. That's how movements start, with one person's faith becoming the spark for another's. You never know who's watching your grind, who's drawing strength from your belief. That's why it's important to keep going, even when you feel unseen. Faith doesn't just build your future, it builds others too. And here's the beautiful paradox. The stronger your faith, the freer you become. Because when you truly believe, you stop trying to control every outcome. You stop stressing over timing. You stop fearing loss. You realize that what's meant for you won't miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. Faith gives you the freedom to act boldly and rest peacefully. It gives you balance, the ability to grind with intensity and still live with peace. So when life gets heavy, when your dreams feel distant, when the past seems endless, let faith be your fuel. Let it remind you that every step matters, every effort counts, and every moment has meaning. You may not see the full picture now, but one day you'll look back and realize that faith carried you through everything that tried to break you. Keep grinding, but grind with belief. Grind knowing that even in your darkest hour, light is forming. Grind knowing that your work is building something eternal. Grind knowing that faith isn't just your fuel, it's your foundation. Because at the end of the day, faith doesn't make things easy, it makes them possible. Sometimes life will put you in situations where nothing seems to move, where you give everything you have, but results feel slow or invisible. It's in these moments that your belief in the unseen is tested. When I say keep grinding, I'm not telling you to move blindly. I'm telling you to trust that what you're doing has meaning even when you can't see the outcome yet. Too many people give up in the dark, not realizing that the dark is where growth takes place. Seeds don't grow in the light first. They grow underground, unseen, buried, isolated. The unseen space is where the roots develop. And without roots, there can never be fruit. You have to hold on to that faith that the work you're putting in today is preparing something greater than what your eyes can currently see. Think about this. When a sculptor is working on a masterpiece, it doesn't look beautiful in the beginning. It looks like a rough, shapeless block of stone. But the sculptor doesn't get discouraged because he sees beyond the rough edges. He knows there's something valuable hidden inside that block. Every strike of the hammer, every scrape of the chisel brings the masterpiece closer to life. That's exactly what belief in the unseen is about. It's trust in the process when the results are still forming. Having the courage to keep working when nothing seems to be changing. The most powerful people in history, the most successful individuals you've ever studied, all had to operate in seasons where they couldn't see progress, but they believed progress was happening. You see, what makes a grinder different is not talent, not luck, not connections. It's vision. Vision is the ability to see something before it exists. When everyone else sees the problem, the grinder sees the potential. When everyone else says, this is over, the grinder says, this is where it starts. It's not that the grinder has special eyes. It's that they've trained their mind to believe before they achieve. Belief in the unseen is not wishful thinking. It's spiritual strength. It's a commitment to continue giving your best effort even when the environment gives you no applause. It's the quiet conviction that even if nobody believes in you, you still believe in you. Sometimes your greatest victories will happen when no one is watching. The unseen moments, those late nights, those early mornings, those hours spent in solitude, that's where your future is built. You might be questioning why your life feels stuck, why the doors aren't opening, why the world isn't noticing your effort. But I want to remind you, faith works in the unseen. The grind you're doing today is not going unnoticed. The universe, God, life, whatever you believe in, is keeping record. Every small act of perseverance, every moment you refuse to quit, is creating energy that will eventually manifest in visible success. When I say keep grinding, I'm not talking about mindless repetition. I'm talking about intentional, faith-driven work. It's about trusting that your effort matters even when you can't yet see the evidence. There's a hidden law of growth that people forget. Results always lag behind effort. The tree doesn't appear the same day you plant the seed. You might water it for weeks, months, even years before it breaks through the soil. But when it does, it grows with strength because of everything that happens underground. That's your life. Your unseen seasons are not wasted. They are necessary. You can't rush what's sacred. You can't rush greatness. Let me tell you something powerful. The unseen grind is where you build your character. You can't fake the unseen. When nobody's watching, when there's no applause, no camera, no validation, that's where the real you shows up. That's where your integrity is tested. Are you still giving 100% when nobody knows? Are you still chasing excellence when no one's clapping for you? Because that's what separates pretenders from professionals. Pretenders perform when there's attention. Professionals perform because it's who they are. The grind is not about showing the world what you can do. It's about showing yourself what you're made of. The unseen grind also teaches you patience. We live in a generation that wants instant results, fast money, fast fame, fast validation, but real success is slow cooked. It takes time, repetition, and faith. You might not see progress daily, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. Think about the bamboo tree. You water it for years without seeing anything, but once it finally breaks through the ground, it grows over 80 feet in just weeks. Why? Because all that time underground, it was building a foundation strong enough to handle its growth. If it had grown earlier, it would have collapsed under its own weight. Your unseen seasons are doing the same thing, preparing you for blessings that require strength, not speed. You've got to stop letting your eyes dictate your belief. What you see isn't always what's happening. Just because it looks like nothing's moving doesn't mean movement isn't happening. Faith is about seeing with your heart when your eyes can't see the outcome. Every setback, every delay, every silent season is part of your preparation. The unseen is shaping your mind, sharpening your focus, and teaching you resilience. And when the time comes, you'll step into opportunities that others miss because they gave up too soon. When you're grinding, you've got to develop a spiritual vision, the kind that sees potential in pain, purpose in pressure, and lessons in loss. You've got to trust that your story is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. That doesn't mean sit back and do nothing. It means give your best and surrender the timing. You can't control when your breakthrough comes, but you can control how consistently you show up before it does. You can control your effort, your mindset, your persistence, your belief. You have to remind yourself every single day, just because I can't see it yet, doesn't mean it's not real. The unseen is always the birthplace of the seen. Every invention, every dream, every breakthrough began as an invisible idea. The greatest things in life start in the unseen realm, in imagination and faith, in persistence. The grind is your bridge between the unseen and the seen. It's your way of proving to the world and to yourself that what you believe in is worth the work. So when life gets hard, when you feel invisible, when you question if your effort even matters, remember the unseen grind. That's where your foundation is being built. That's where your resilience is being forged. Keep believing, even when nobody claps. Keep showing up, even when no one notices. Because one day, everything you've been working for in silence will speak so loudly that the world won't be able to ignore it. Don't give up just because you can't see it. Don't stop because it feels slow. Keep grinding with faith. Keep trusting the process. The unseen sins are sacred. They're shaping you for what's next. You may not understand it now, but one day, you'll look back and realize that the darkness was not your punishment, it was your preparation. You were growing roots. You were being strengthened. You were being molded into the person capable of carrying the blessings you were praying for. Keep grinding, not because it's easy, not because it's visible, but because you know deep down that greatness is being built even when no one can see it yet. Your job is to keep showing up. The results will come when the time is right. Until then, believe in the unseen, trust the grind, and never stop moving forward. When you decide to keep grinding, one of the most powerful things you can ever do is protect your focus. Your focus is your energy. It's your time, your mental space, and your ability to channel everything you have toward what truly matters. Without focus, even the most talented people lose direction. You can be the most gifted, most hardworking individual in the room, but if your energy is scattered, you'll never reach your potential. Focus is what turns effort into impact. It's what transforms consistency into success. And in a world full of noise, distractions, and endless comparisons, protecting your focus has become one of the hardest but most necessary parts of the going. Every day, something is fighting for your attention. Social media, other people's opinions, negativity, drama, comfort, and fear. The world wants to pull you in 100 directions at once. And if you let it, you'll spend your life chasing everything and catching nothing. That's why you gotta guard your focus like it's gold, because it is. You can't afford to waste your mental energy on things that don't grow you. Every second you spend on distractions is seconds stolen from your purpose. Every thought wasted on comparison is a thought taken from creativity. Every argument, every complaint, every moment spent worrying about things outside your control. Those are energy leaks. They drain you. They rob you of the fire you need to stay committed to your grind. Focus is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. When you truly understand your purpose, your priorities become clear. You stop saying yes to everything, and you start saying no to what doesn't align with your vision. That's not being selfish. That's being strategic. You can't build a legacy by living distracted. You can't reach your highest potential by constantly reacting to every little thing that comes your way. You have to make a decision that your time, your peace, and your mental clarity are too valuable to give away cheaply. Protecting your focus means learning how to be selective about what you let into your mind. Not everything deserves space there. One of the hardest lessons you'll ever learn is that not everyone around you deserves access to your energy. Some people will drain you, not because they're bad people, but because their goals don't align with yours. You've got to be wise enough to know who belongs in your circle. If you surround yourself with people who don't have vision, who don't value growth, who don't push you to be better, you'll find yourself distracted by mediocrity. Protect your focus by protecting your environment. Energy is contagious, so ask yourself, are you catching inspiration or are you catching excuses? When you're grinding, there will be moments when you feel overwhelmed, when everything seems to demand your attention at once. That's when focus becomes your weapon. You gotta quiet the noise and zero in on what's important right now. Successful people don't get there by multitasking everything. They get there by mastering what matters. They understand that progress comes from depth, not from speed. They go all in on one thing at a time. Focus means choosing to stay on your path, even when distractions look tempting. It means trusting that in one direction will create momentum, even if it takes time. You've also got to protect your focus